Welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina, or Concord, North Carolina, just out of Charlotte. Tonight we have the Undisputed Cup Series, race number 2 of the playoffs for tonight's Quantum 220 Extreme Sports here from the Charlotte Roval. But a little interesting Charlotte Roval, it's the old one with the old 2018 chicane, so we'll see how that plays out a lot differently tonight. Currently qualifying, just getting underway as currently a few drivers on their first laps. 10 minutes for 10 minutes to set those 2 laps. So we'll see who can put it on top of the board. Top of the board in practice was Kyle Hosley with a 1:17.004. So we'll see what he can do here in qualifying. And Dustin Stallings was a close second with a 1:17.113. So we'll see how qualifying will shape up here.
And Kyle Hosley, his second start of the season, made his first start last week at Bristol, first race of the playoffs. He's currently on the racetrack right now, saying his lap time.
Now, especially with this chicane here, I ran a few practice laps myself. Got a little test through there, but if you really overshoot that backstretch chicane, one, you can go into the tire barrier, but if you don't hit the tire barrier, you really touch those curves at all. As you'll see Kyle Hosley come through here.
Really good.
To touch any of those left side curbs there, your car will really get upset and it wants to spin. So you got to avoid those left side curves as much as possible. If anyone hits that, it's going to be really hard to keep control of it and not spin. But here comes Kyle Hosley here through lap number 1. As through the chicane here off the final chicane, complete lap number 1. We'll see what he does here. It'll be a little slower lap than what his practice lap. Just tires getting warmed up. 1:18.426. 4:09 will be his first lap there. They'll put him P3 on the board for now. Top of the board currently is Dustin Stallings at the 1:18.087. So we'll see how much these drivers will pick up here on lap 2.
Yeah, Stallings in the pits now got him to attempt a second lap as there goes Kyle Schmitz to third.
Kyle Schmitz jumps to P3. Kyle Hosley, we'll see if he can back up that practice time. Down the back straightaway, he's going to go pretty shallow entry here to the bus stop. Looks really good though, really good chicane there.
It might just be his line there going a little shallow, just not really focusing too much on entry, just focusing, just kind of straight lining as much as he can. But as Brendan Max goes top of the board.
You enter that wide a little bit, you kind of have to force itself to turn back, but here comes Hosley across the line, 1:17.116. We'll go to the top of the board, but I do like his line through there a little bit shallower, as you said, kind of just straighten that line up. If you go pretty wide, it'll get you a better entry, but if you go in wide and overshoot it, you're gonna really have to fight the car to turn back to the right to avoid these curbs. And also, it'll have to slow you down a little bit, but really good, enough curb. You can't really do much more than that, or you're gonna go around. You're gonna really be bouncing around off that chicane. So really good line through there. Currently, Brendan Max is second on the board right now with a 1:17.990. He was third in practice. We'll see what Kyle Klink can do. He was fourth at 1:17.868. We'll see what he does here on lap number 2. First lap with 18 flat, and now through the chicane. Looked a little bit slower than Kyle Hosley. I think that's where Hosley's going to really make all his time here, is through that final chicane. Well, that bus stop chicane there. But here comes Kyle Klink down the front straightaway into the front stretch chicane. Klink going to use a little bit of the curbs. Looks pretty good through there. Maybe give it a little bit tight, but across the line it'll be 18.562. So not good enough to improve. He'll still slot in P3. 4 drivers yet to take the racetrack. Let to complete a lap time yet. Dakota Bly and Evan Patinko on their first laps.
We got 3.5 minutes left in qualifying right now. We got Rusty Rafferty. He's already set his laps. Dakota Bly now on the racetrack. Looks like. Going into the chicane for his first time lap.
So will be complete his first lap here. Off a turn, off the final corner. Just a pretty slow lap. Just trying to get some heat in the tires, taking nice and easy. You're running a 1:23.949. Looks like just trying to get a lap on the board. Now tonight, race number 2 of the playoffs. So these drivers looking to trying to survive, especially some of these drivers here at the road course. Maybe not be the best, but they just want to survive. Not in tonight's race in one piece. Just not make big mistakes to lose you so much time and any points. So Dakota Bliss coming in third tonight, 7 points above the cut line.
There's always pretty much lost his lap right there, so that's gonna be most likely slower than the 123.9.
Evan Patinko right behind him here on the racetrack, off the infield road course now. He's on lap number 2 and validated lap number 1. So we'll see what Patinko can do here on lap number 2. Only 3 drivers on the racetrack: Scott Kerber, Dakota Bly, and Evan Patinko. As Kerber has pulled into the pits, and Dakota Bly spun on that lap already. But here comes Patinko through the chicane and took it nice and easy. I haven't really seen anyone else other than Kyle Hosley really push that chicane there through this qualifying. So here comes Patinko through the final chicane. We'll see if he can pick up here on lap number 2. Maybe just try and get a lap in. 120.654 in practice. We'll see if he can pick up here in qualifying. Across the line, it will be a 125.79. That will put him P11 on the board, and that will be everyone's qualifying runs here tonight. So that means Kyle Hosley in his second start, he'll be on the pole for the Roval tonight.
Yeah, on the pole here, not officially, but pretty much guaranteed. They were the minute and 30 left in qualifying. So in the second start of the season, gonna put it on top of the board by almost a second over the rest of the field, pretty much. And I think really the main thing we talked about earlier was that chicane entry was just so good. Just for the whole chicane, just pretty much perfect as much as you can get it down the back straightaway. And that's like probably the biggest most important corner on the racetrack to get wrong and to get right. I mean, if you get that thing wrong, your race is pretty much over before it even begins, pretty much. And they do get one faster per tonight, so I'm sure we'll see a few people probably hit the wall there on the chicane on the back straightaway. I'm sure of it here tonight. 60 laps in total, so yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting corner. And also, it's not really a good passing opportunity like the new chicane here at the Charlotte Roval, or the newer, I guess. It's about what, 5 years old, 6 years old, so
yeah, it's definitely gonna be a new interesting. I mean, no one's driven the next gen really in this, unless they randomly threw it up in the test session. So this is kind of been a lot of interesting. Never been a setup built for this for that as well. So and it's also a lot different. Now the new Roval has not been added to the service yet, but so yeah, it's going to be completely different. We're going to kind of go back to the old Roval, back to 2024. So it's a little well, 2023, sorry, but it's a little different. So gonna go back to those S's, but we really never got the new Roval in the service. So we're gonna really to the 2018 Roval with this bus stop chicane, and it is a little, I mean, as you said, a little difficult, but also it's a risk versus reward corner as well. You risk it too much, you can easily jump those curbs and end up wrecking your car, or maybe going for a spin if you're lucky. But if you take it nice and easy, you go through there a little bit slower, lose a little bit of time, but you'll make it safe. But you can get it perfectly. You gain so much time through that bus stop there. So, and that's, I think, where we're going to see a lot of gains be made, especially like you said, not really a passing opportunity, but it'll allow you, if you can get a really good run through there compared to the guy in front of you, maybe have a shot going down to the front stretch chicane. So the other chicane kind of opened up a little passing opportunity, but this now it's going to play a little bit more mind games. You know, try to make you move into the final chicane there on the front straightaway, trying to get that run from the bus stop. It'll be, we saw that in 2018 real life race there as well, Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. We could see a repeat of that today, but we'll tonight. But we'll see how that plays out with these drivers. 60 laps and fuel looking like around 27 to 28 laps. So these drivers are gonna have to make a two-stop race, especially with the new tire wear and the new updates here to the next gen car. We did have one race on it a little bit ago, right after the build at Watkins Glen. But now we're going to see a lot difference here from the Roval. How the tires going to wear compared, especially with those that backstretch chicane. It could really put a lot on the tires, especially if you hit those curbs a lot. Put a little bit extra heat in the tires, and it could really make it tight through there, and a lot harder to get through there through that bus stop chicane later in the run. So we'll see how those drivers master that tire wear tonight and strategy.
Yeah, this is going to be a very unique Roval race here tonight. The Roval kind of races like a street course in a sense because the wall is just so close, especially in the infield. Obviously, and also with one of the more unique road courses where you can see pretty much the whole track from your seats. So very cool venue here in Concord, North Carolina. It's currently still green up here for 60 laps in total, and shouldn't be any yellows unless there's a big wreck or incident or something like that. But currently right now everyone is geared up and we're about to roll off, and quick little pace stop here, get those tires warmed up, these Nextions fired up as well.
And these tires are going to be crucial to warm up here on this out lap, especially they're a lot better than what they used to be with the kind of older build, but definitely tire heat is going to be definitely useful here if you get them warmed up here on this warm-up lap. But while we're going underway, let's take a look at our starting lineup for tonight's Quantum 220 Extreme Sports here from the Roval. As you just saw in qualifying, Kyle hosted with a 1:17.119, puts it on the pole in front of the 11 of Brendan Maddox. Kyle Klenk will start P3, Dustin Stallings will start 4th tonight. Starting 5th will be 19 of Kyle Schmitz. Jason Bottoms will start 6th in that 5 machine. Alex Bonto in the 77 will start 7th. Cody Doshi will start 8th in the 9 machine. And starting 9th will be the 3 of Brandon Newton, and Dan Barone will round out the top 10. Starting 11th will be the 81 of Ed Pazinko. Daniel Jackson will start 12th. 13th will be 34 of Rusty Rafferty. And Ticket of Live will start 14th. Eric Riley will start 15th. Cole Lewis will start 16th tonight. The 14th is Scott Herbert, the last driver, set a lap time in qualifying. He'll start 17th, and David Wells will start alongside him in that 22 machine, 18th. And running our 19 car field tonight will be the 20 machine of Jimmy Gordon, as he'll start from the back tonight. How we get through here in turn 1 and 2, as mentioned, the Undisputed Cup Series sponsors. If you want to support the Undisputed Cup Series, make sure to use their affiliate links for Smack and Sunflower Seeds, and also StubHub, the links in the description for those affiliate links if you want to support the Undisputed Cup Series. And also make sure to join the LRN Discord, Let's Race Network Discord down there as well. Also have a new event coming up here in just a few more weeks for the Legends Racing Network Southern 500 coming up here on August 30th, so that'll definitely be a fun event coming up. And also make sure to check out all the other Undisputed Cup Series sponsors: Burlington Cafe, Quantum Bearings, sponsor of tonight's race, and KK Woodscapes as well. So definitely a lot of cool sponsors everyone wants to support, and you'll see a lot of those sponsors on these race cars tonight. But these drivers getting ready to go here for 60 laps tonight.
Yeah, you gotta be perfect for these 60 laps. Probably one of the toughest road courses. Doesn't seem like a tough layout, but just like I mentioned before, it just drives like a street course with how close these walls are, especially Films Heartburn Turn 1. Probably one of the most famous road course turns in all of NASCAR, as we're about to go green here at the Roval.
It's a little different because the green comes into the chicane here on the service instead of the restart zone normally on the racetrack. So we'll see how that plays out here on these restarts. Green flags in the air. We're underway for tonight's Quantum 220 Extreme Sports. And Brendan Maddox with a great launch. He'll clear for the lead into 1.
As he clears into turn 1, we'll see how it goes up the hill and down into turn 2, and now under the bridge here through 3 and 4.
Kyle Osley a little loose there off of turn number 2, so he able to keep it together, but he's trying to follow in the tire tracks of Brendan Maddox right now. Brendan Maddox trying to pull away a little bit, trying to get a little gap, but a spinner in the back. One car goes around off turn number 4.
Jason Bottoms.
Jason Bottoms goes around, trying to try and get back going. Big complications there. No cautions, so any mistake you made will pretty much be a pretty big deficit. So Jason Bottoms just going around there, just using the back end on the corner tires.
In the rear too. Kyle Schmitz there.
Jason Bottoms coming tonight over the cut line by 5 points. So he really not a mistake he needed to make right there. But here comes down the back straight into the back chicane for the first time. Hosley really shallow through there.
That's just his line.
It works out a little bit. Stays around the same gap, but such a cool way from the drivers behind him. They still lose a little bit of time to Brendan Maddox. Brendan Maddox with the front chicane for the final time. One car into the wall.
Kyle Schmitz going 4 wheels off the ground, I believe there. Skipping hot. One car around actually in behind him. That's Daniel Jackson, the 16. He goes around hitting the curb. So all you see are a fair share of incidents in the chicane there.
And Kyle Schmidt's kind of be an example of what I was talking about. You overstep it, those turtles will be very deadly, and you'll easily jump over those curbs and make that car really unsettled. Luckily, he was able to hold on to it and keep it going, and he actually still got a spot out of it. But actually, Brendan Max up for the race lead, a big wiggle through coming up the hill. But now also, Kyle Hosley does the same thing, so he doesn't lose too much time. Stallings off the grass, off the grass a little bit.
Not sure if he just overshot it there. It looks like he just lost some grip on entry. Luckily, he didn't go spinning, but still, gotta take care of those tires here early on. Don't want to lock them up too much and have that tire start to wear out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and especially that corner was very tough. In my practice laps I did here. Oh, but Hosley really over those curves there, able to keep it together. It goes a little jumping. It might have kind of be a supercross kind of night off that chicane throughout the night, but big jump there for Kyle Hosley. But like I said, coming up into those S's there, down the back, infield back straightaway through kind of turn into turn 5. The gearing is right up to 3rd gear, so if you kind of keep it in 3rd gear, but you have to shift up to 4th. I mean, you pretty much lose a little bit too much time not shifting there, and then when you go up to 4th, you pretty much have to instantly go back down to 3rd, and it initiates a little bit of wheel spin, and especially trying to get hard on the brakes going uphill, try to still keep turning over the car. It really upsets the rear end of the race car, so you really can't, and also you can't really keep 3rd gear in there as well. So it's kind of just finding that perfect time to shift down the 2nd and hit that curb. Brendan Max able to do it there. Hosley a little bit wider, but he actually kept a good amount of speed kind of through the middle of line of the racetrack there. He's really closed the gap here to Max through this back half of the infield, and now onto the oval. Brendan Max having some a little bit of pressure now from Hosley behind.
Yeah, we'll see how this chicane works. Hosley really just liking that line in the bottom. Just so very unique. Haven't really seen that a lot. I mean, even with the old Roval, I mean, looks like it's working out though pretty well for him. So I mean, I think he's found something here at Charlotte.
But off a turn at number 4 down the front straightaway. Into the front chicane, Hosley looks on the back bumper of Brendan Max.
And also one thing we didn't really talk about was lap traffic could play a factor as well in tonight's race. As Hosley kind of overshot turn 2 a little bit there to back off, not hit the concrete wall. As allows Max to pull away just a little bit in the infield.
But through the S's there, kind of the S's there, and this corner. Oh, we got a car off here into turn number 1. Giving and Alex Bonser as well also goes around there. Multiple drivers making mistakes there out of turn 1. Turn 1 definitely also kind of a struggle corner. You can go up to 4th gear and it'll shift you back down to 3rd gear, but you can't go to 2nd. It could upset the car a little bit, but especially that curve, kind of a little flatter curve a little bit. But it kind of hurts that race car. Lose back, very easy to lose the back end of the race car through turn 1, but Hosley kind of hunting down Brendan Max a little bit. He's a little bit better through that back stretch chicane, but now to the front stretch chicane. Hosley closes the gap down a lot better on the brakes. A little bit wider entry, but Max able to pull away just a little bit off the exit. These two are going to have a pretty good battle throughout the night. They're both 7 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, so these two very even on pace so far tonight. Also see how that tire wear plays out for these drivers as well. Tires will definitely fall off after about 15-20 laps. They'll definitely start to slide a little bit more, be a little bit harder to control. That lap time just won't be there anymore. But it'll definitely be a strategy play to try and save a little bit of tires, so you make those last a little bit longer. But Maddox really slide off that corner there. Through the S's, you can really switch back each other through this section. So I really like about these double Fs on the exit back onto the oval. Max seems a little bit better on the exits right now, though, and Hosley seems a little bit better through the braking zones.
As currently right now, 5/10 is a gap here through the chicane. Looks like it's pretty much similar. Max gets a little bit better exit, but those two definitely the quickest drivers on the racetrack. They'll be probably the ones to watch out for before the first pit stop. I think really this race will come down to pit stop strategy and maybe just lap traffic positioning, because these guys are really even on speed currently. Even Kyle Klink, he's pretty decent on speed as well. Yeah, he's running in 3rd place right now. So it could be a 2-3 car battle here for the race lead after 60 laps, but obviously it's a long ways away, and strategy, mistakes, and lap traffic all play a factor when it comes really down to the end of this one. So I'm not really sure what will be the best strategy: overcut, undercut, maybe even trying to save and do a one-stop race. We talked about that a little bit, fueling around 28 laps. I mean, it's possible, but there's a lot of different strategies that a lot of drivers can use and maybe take and see what this plays out here after 60 laps.
I don't know you'll be able to save 30 laps. As Kyle Klink actually kind of getting hunted down a little bit here by Dustin Stallings, but fuel just a little. So I think it's just a little bit too much to save. You can't really save 2 laps here, especially how the wide open oval. It's just you're gonna be way too much speed for a lot of these, and it's just gonna burn a little bit too much fuel trying to save. You could try and save it, but I think you'll lose too much fuel because you have to save 2 laps per run, which would be overall 4 laps, which I think is just a little bit too much to ask for here at the Roval. But Kyle Klink, holding on to 3rd for now, but Dustin Stallings is trying to close that gap in, as actually Brendan Max is pulled away from the race lead just a little bit. So those two staying separated just a little bit now. But Kyle Klink trying to hold on, but this top battle for the lead and battle for 3rd. So these top 4 kind of staying together in 2 separate packs right now. So we'll see how that plays out throughout this race.
Oh, blown up Alex Bondenor off of, looks like the chicane. What happened to 77 machine? Most likely.
Looks like he overshot it here. I think maybe. Just got a little bit too much
just
curve.
Got loose there.
And that's the risk of hitting that exit curb. You really upset the car, and then you kind of lose all control of it. And instead of going to the inside, it's spinning through the grass a little bit. He ended up going up into the outside wall and blowing the engine. So he'll have to come down and take his fast repair, but he's going to really lose a lot of time from that. He was already running 13th. Now he's going to fall back even further. So bad night for Alex Bontour right now, and especially tonight needing a good race. Bontour outside looking in, 5 points out of the cut, off the cut line, and Alex Bontour not having a good night. So we just have to really need a good race next week at Michigan if he wants a chance.
Yeah, kind of a wild card. This kind of, Bristol, Roval, back to back, kind of wild card races, you could say. So here comes Kyle Schmidt to the inside of Dorsey, go lock it up and check it a little bit there. Not a great entry to the final chicane, but yeah, I mentioned Bristol and the Roval. Bristol was pretty hectic last week. A lot of cautions in that one. Kind of really made some chase drivers just have a bad night. A lot of them did not have great nights. And going to tonight here at the Roval, more of an equalizer, I would say, compared to the Bristol, but still more of a wild card race, I would say, as well. Just real courses, some people are good, some people are bad, and they're kind of okay at them. Just a very clean mix of drivers here, and I think it's a very just interesting opening round of the playoffs. You got your Bristol, Roval, and Michigan, all very, very, very different racetracks.
Yeah, especially these three different types of racetracks through this first round. As we went to, Bristol last week, a half-mile short track, and now here to the Roval in a two-miler. So, yeah, these playoff schedule pretty much all different types of tracks. Oh, we got a wreck in turn one, Brendan Maddox in. Kyle Hosley goes around. Alex Bontour gets into him. Both of them into the wall in turn number 1. Here comes Kyle Klink looking for the lead. Kyle Klink going for the lead off of turn number 2 as the leaders go around in turn number 1.
Still
Klink to the inside, side by side with Brendan Maddox.
He's got an advantage here. Watch for the crossover move. Nope, he's gonna stay ahead for now.
Is that showing everybody?
Brendan Maddox going into turn. Brendan Maddox and Kyle Hosley into turn number 1.
As we'll take a replay of that one as absolute mayhem here on lap number 9.
Alright, copy that one, send it to Dylan and Cody. No cameras.
As here's the replay into turn number 1. Hosley locks it up, and oh, Maddox, he was trying to go to the inside of Maddox. Hosley just went to the bottom into turn number 1, locked up, got into Maddox, as Maddox tried to hold the outside. And that ended up both of them into the wall, and Alex Bonshore just came in a little bit, a few seconds later. He just got lapped. But as you see, Hosley trying to make the move, locked up a little bit. Maddox turned in a little bit. Didn't expect Hosley to lock up. They both went to the wall, and Bonshore tried to coming in there at full speed. He thought he had just lost the back end, trying to avoid it, and he got back going. Luckily, he was able to get back going, but a little bit.
And now
lost
still,
some time there.
It's going to be a 3-car wait for the race lead now. As here comes Dustin Stallings as well, who's looking at replay. As what a chaotic turn of events there. And wow, that's just not 10 laps in the race, and that happens there. Leaders tangle in the Tums Up Burn turn. Now it's a 3-way battle in the race lead. Here it's Maddox, Klink, and Stallings. And Max pull away maybe to a bigger gap as really good chicane there on the back straightaway. He's going to pull away big time from Klink there.
Yeah, Kyle Hosley, he after that, he got the worst out of that as he got hit by Alex Bonsior. So he's 12 seconds back, and actually he's spinning off the back stretch chicane. Kyle Hosley goes around, loses a little bit too much curve, trying to push to keep back going. Now he's got to back it up and keep rolling, but that's going to lose him more time. He's going to fall all the way behind Kyle Schmitz. It might lose a spot to Dan Barone here. He's going to fall over 25 seconds back from the race lead, so just unfortunate for Kyle Hosley. More and more time being lost.
Yeah, not really the mistakes you can afford to make here, especially with no cautions coming out in tonight's race. Still have 50 laps to go, so still a long way left in this one, but still, you can't afford to make those 2 really big mistakes. And now he's around 25 seconds back from our race leader, Brendan Maddox. So still a chance, possibly Max gets in some trouble, or some of the drivers ahead of him gets into some trouble, but it's definitely gonna be tough.
And these drivers are gonna have to try and chase down Brendan Maddox. Brendan Maddox pulling a little bit. He got pretty lucky with that, even for nosing into the tire barrier there. Didn't get much damage. There's a little bit of left wheel damage from contact. Maybe he got tagged by Alex Sponsor, kind of sliding in there. But Brendan Maddox, a little bit of left rear damage, but looked like I don't think he's got any wheel damage, so it's not hurting him too bad at all. He's currently pulled away by about a half second that lap there, as they actually put Cole Lewis a lap down there into turn number 1. Dustin Stallings got into second around Kyle Klink. He's trying to chase down Brendan Maddox for the race lead. These drivers, they had some of their pace, but just didn't get that good start launch they hoped for. And so Brendan Maddox just trying to hold on to the race lead. Maybe that damage could be affecting him a little bit, but I don't think it's really doing much. But Dustin Stallings trying to chase him down, wanting to get this race lead.
Yeah, Stallings within a second now 7/10. He has to close the gap. He has closed the gap just a little bit.
Stallings trying to close that gap a little bit through the back chicane. As all of them kind of clip the curve just a little bit, all of them able to keep together. We'll see this time by the lap time between Maddox and Stallings. Maddox was at 18.677 last time, and Stallings was 18.771. So here on this lap here across the line, Maddox with a 904 and Stallings with a 336. So a good lap for Dustin Stallings there. He's closing the gap in. Tires starting to matter a little bit more. I think he's saving them a little bit better. Just not sliding him as much, trying to lower the heat, not putting too much heat into him. He's really closing that gap in now. Gonna kind of get with just about a half a second behind him. Almost getting to the back bumper of Brendan Maddox.
Yeah, he's closing the gap. We'll see how it really go up the hill. He might have been a little bit better tire saving possibly. His tires might be a little bit better. Obviously, Max went for a spin. Burnt up his stuff quite a bit in turn 1 a few laps ago. Getting the power down here, down into oval turn 1, turn 2. Pretty even. Down the back straight, way to go here shortly.
That's off to number 2, down the back straightaway. Dustin Stallings right behind Brendan Maddox. Not getting a whole lot through there, a little bit of curve. It's just every time you see someone top the curves, definitely there's a chance they wreck it, and it's just kind of tense up every time you see them go over the curve, but down into the front chicane now. As they're actually going to catch David Wells here. So that's going to might slow him up a little bit, but Dustin Stallings looks really good to that final chicane there. David Wells getting out of the way of the race leaders. So far, Maddox holding that time for now. Looking like he's okay, just keeping it together. But Stallings has really picked up his pace. He's got that around the same lap time, so these two could be battling for race lead. They're both pulling away from Kyle Klink. Kyle Klink now about 3 seconds back from these two for the race lead, but we already saw it once tonight. These two could tangle again. Top two could tangle again, and Klink has an opportunity. Maddox though, oh, but Stallings into the wall.
No front end for him unless it glitches out there.
Pops back up there, a little bit of neck code damage, but that wall definitely is a little bit buggy. It can really hurt the damage the race car very easily. So you gotta hope he didn't get any damage with that, but he looks okay. Didn't lose any time through the oval there. A little bit of the curve, left side curve there for Brendan Maddox. Well, right side driver, right side curve there, but he's able to keep it together. Dustin Stallings to try and catch back up a little bit as he got the wall there off the exit of the road course, and a really good on the brakes through the chicane. Looks like that's what it seems to be for Brendan Maddox. Brendan Maddox seems kind of backs up the braking zones a little bit more. It's focused on the exit compared to driving it a little bit deeper, trying to just maintain speed through center of the corner. So Maddox really seems to be prioritizing exit a little bit, and it's working out for him for now. Kind of gives him that doesn't allow the driver behind him to try and get a run into the next corner. So it's helping Brendan Maddox kind of stay away just enough to not have Stallings make a move into a corner. But now he's really pulling away now. Got a few car lengths here through the infield. So far, starting to fall back just a tad.
Yeah, so we have a 3-car battle here. Brandon Newton, Cody Dorsey, Kyle Schmitz as well. All under a blanket pretty much here in the infield. As Kyle Hosley down pit lane for the first time tonight. Probably an unscheduled pit stop for that 04 machine. Max continues to lead through turn 1. Stallings not gonna let him pull away. Last week's winner at Bristol. His wheel broke in the last 5 laps, allowed Kyle Klink to close down the gap big time. Last week at Bristol was a photo finish, surprisingly. But anyways, Max still leads over Stallings. Stallings not a playoff driver, just missed out, or he only has 4 starts this season. This will be his 5th. Currently has 2 wins on the season, so in those 4 starts, he's 50% so far, and he has 3 top 5s in those 4 starts as well. So he's been really good in those limited starts he's had. And we'll see if he can go back-to-back here tonight at the Charlotte Roval. Possibly try to be the best of the rest outside the playoffs as well.
Stallings still staying about a half a second back from Brendan Maddox, as they are really pulling away for the rest of the field. Kyle Klink just the only one to kind of keep close. Oh, but Dustin Stallings, big lock up there into the chicane. He's gonna cut the chicane, so you have to stop and serve a slowdown here. They'll get back going, but that's gonna cost him even more time there for Dustin Stallings. Just locked it up, getting into the entry. Just overshot it.
Yeah,
driving in a little bit too deep.
Lost
the back end, and Max had to take evasive action there.
I think it was also
allowing to gain a lot of time.
It was also the transition from the banking to the flats chicane as well, kind of upset the race car a little bit there. But luckily, no damage for him, but also the tires could be wearing out quite a bit as well, not helping them out at all.
So far, Brendan Maddox now has a 2.5 second lead over Dustin Stallings. So we'll see if Stallings can close that gap back closer to Brendan Maddox. I think that's opened up to about 3 seconds now. So big mistake there for Dustin Stallings. Could possibly cost him the win if he can't close that gap back down. Really, Kyle Hosley, I think, believe he made his first pit stop already. Just came and took his fast pair, so he did just last time by. So currently, Kyle Hosley about almost a lap down. He's into turn number 1 right now. So Kyle Hosley, we'll see how much he can gain. He was the fastest all night long, so we'll see if he can gain much on. We'll see how much he can gain on Brendan Maddox. Maybe he needs to gain about 25 seconds to still kind of be in this fight, as he'll have to make another pit stop, but everyone else still has to make 2 stops tonight as well. So it's not really pitting there, not really a penalty there. But he already did lose a lot of time from getting into a couple incidents. So we'll see if Hosley, how much time he can gain. Last time I was 18.5. This is his first lap out, so now he's going to get those tires warmed up. We'll see what his lap times are, but he still needs a lot of time to gain. I think he still has a chance to even get a top 3 in this race, top 4 in this race. So Kyle Hosley can still salvage a really good result tonight, even after multiple incidents. We'll see how. We'll keep an eye on that 04 machine. Once again, he's really the only driver I've seen going a shallow entry there. Actually downshifted twice, I believe, there. So he's just taking his time, just trying to survive. Right now, Brendan Maddox, though, still pulling around about 3 seconds, but actually, Dustin Stallings gaining a lot of time here on this second lap, on this lap. So 2 laps after his mistake, Dustin Stallings closing that gap back in, and he's really picked up the pace now. Wonder if Maddox just maybe made a big mistake, and I think he did, is he actually lost a lot of time. Yeah, Brendan Maddox into turn 1 last time by, really lost the back end, actually tagged the outside wall. Brendan Maddox, as you'll see here on, well, going into turn 1 just what lap ago, lost the back end, lost a lot of time to Brendan Maddox, as there's the replay.
That's not the replay, that's alive. As here goes Max, he hits outside wall once again. Stallings right behind him there.
Apologies for that there, but pretty much the identical. What just happened a lap ago cost him a lot of time, and now Brendan Maddox has pressure on the back bumper of Dustin Stallings, and now also both of them making big mistakes now. That allowed Kyle Clayton to close the gap in. He's under 3 seconds. He's right behind him, so I think Brendan Maddox really lit up the rear tires a little bit, and he's really struggling into turn 1, especially going a little, even though it's not very banked. But going from the flat, from the banking on the front straightaway to the flats, especially maybe just clipping that curve, just the 9-degree corner, really upsets the rear of the race car, and then Brendan Maddox really struggling with that into turn number 1. That's allowing Dustin Stallings to close the gap in here. We'll see down the back straightaway into the back chicane how well they can do. Good line for both of them keep it off the curbs, keep it nice and safe. Brendan Maddox seems to be a little bit better run, pulls away just a little bit, but we'll see if he can keep it together here in turn 1. Two major mistakes in turn 1 that could have ended in disaster. So we'll see how much he backs it up here in turn 1. And Stallings actually come down pit road pretty early, so I mean, he's going to split it kind of every 20 laps. So he's going to kind of split the race in thirds for Stallings. So that could be a good strategy call there for that 00 machine.
Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's pretty much splitting up into thirds, which is pretty much, I would say, the safest strategy here. But it looks like, how long will Max go out here as well? How long will he stay out here and try maybe do an overcut possibly as well?
Can definitely work out. I think it kind of depends on the aggressiveness of the tire wear. I know Watkins Glen on the service this week and also in real life, so all the officials there, and NIS on Wednesday was very tire wear heavy. The carousel at Watkins Glen gets very tight on the tires, and you really lose a lot of time as your tires pretty much blow up after about 30 laps. So I could see if we get similar tire wear to that here at the old Roval, which I don't think it will be. It wasn't like that in my practice laps I ran earlier. Just trying to get an idea of the track, how the car can handle through some of these areas. As actually Brendan Maddox will come down pit road, kind of react to Dustin Stallings there at that lap time by, and also Kyle Klink also came down pit road, and he's actually hunting down the Dustin Stallings, all of the back bumper there through the oval turn 1. They'll pass Scott Kerber as Kerber going another lap down, but Kyle Klink all over the back bumper Dustin Stallings here. So he's trying to get that spot, trying to net second place here. But these two don't battle too much. They can get a little bit more time on Brendan Maddox, and maybe both jump Brendan Maddox, but Kyle Klink a little bit slow through the chicane there on the back straightaway. So Dustin Stallings able to pull away, but we'll see where will they cycle out compared to Brendan Maddox. Brendan Maddox taking on the right side tires now. Taking right side tires now, so he's taking his service. We'll see can he come out in front of Dustin Stallings. Brendan Maddox now out of the box, coming into turn number 1 for Dustin Stallings, and Brendan Maddox will have the cut, the pit exit cut a little bit. But Dustin Stallings is going to come through turn number 2, going to be right behind Brendan Maddox. So Brendan Maddox holds the lead from pit stops, even with the lap undercut for Dustin Stallings. I don't think that the 1-lap tire will make it too much of a difference, but now Brendan Maddox has to warm those tires up a little bit, so he's going to be a little bit, icy tires, kind of a little bit. It could slow him up a little bit. And actually, now he has to go to the inside of David Wells. That's going to allow Dustin Stallings to get a really good run here through the S's. But now that Stallings has to widen up his entry, kind of coming to the exit of the infield. But Stallings looks really good. We'll see if Stallings can kind of get to the back bumper here. Maddox maybe mounted attack into the front chicane. Now third of the way through this one here from the Roval, as Brendan Maddox really good through the chicane, and he actually pulls well a little bit, so he'll net the race lead once again. Brendan Maddox holding on to the race lead.
Now it's fast lap just set by Dustin Stallings there, so he's slowly but surely trying to catch up to Brendan Maddox. We'll see what Maddox's lap time is here with the fresh tires, but the top 3 still under blanket pretty much here. Maddox, Stallings, and Klink. There's a big lock up there from someone. There was a lap car up ahead.
So far though, Maddox able to hold the lead, and Klink and Stallings not too far behind them. As Klink really hit those curbs a little bit, lost a little bit of time to Dustin Stallings. So far, those drivers have pit. Kyle Hosley actually lost a lot more time. He's actually about he's actually about a minute behind, so I think he's pretty much out of this one for the night. I don't think he really gained that much time back. The top 3 not too far away from each other, so if anyone makes a mistake, they're definitely right there on each other. So we'll see how this race plays out through the night. I mean, we saw Dustin Stallings looks like he's going to try to split this race into thirds. Both these drivers, all these drivers up front, splitting the race into thirds here. So we'll see how well their tire wear will be in that final run. I mean, they're pretty much all going to be about even, but right now I think if they keep cutting every 19 laps, they'll have just a lap or 2 extra on those tires for that final run. So we'll see how that plays out for them.
As Eric Riley down pit lane here, right around lap 23, so late pit stop for the 17 machine. He's coming off pit lane right now. But only 2 drivers have exited the session. It's Rusty Rafferty and Alex Bonzanor. 2 drivers out so far tonight. Biggest mover is Evan Benzinko there in the 81 in 6th place currently, up 5 spots. Really have a good run there in 6th place. Kind of just all no man's land by himself. So kind of the point of the race where, like, you know, we have the top there pretty close together. We have a few drivers that are pretty close together. But here comes Brendan Max now to the inside, Stallings, side by side for the race lead. Up the hill they go. Oh, some contact on the entry. Here comes Klink. He's going to try to take advantage of this one now. As now it's a 3-horse race, big time here for the race lead here at Charlotte Roval.
That gap closed up pretty quickly as Brendan Max had the same mistake into turn 1, really lost the back end, and lost actually Stallings got in front for just a second, but then he overshot the next corner. But now all 3 of these right under a blanket again. Brendan Max really struggling with the grip, rear end grip into turn number 1. So now we'll see if Stallings, if he can take advantage again, but lost that spot back. But Brendan Max just really needs to kind of hone down turn 1 as he really hits the curve a little bit. He's just way up against the outside wall into turn number 3, oval 3, but he still holds on to it. Pretty good run for Brendan Max. But it seems mistakes are going to be the key of the game. Who doesn't make many of them? And all 3 of them making mistakes so far tonight, but Brendan Maddox just trying to hold on in turn number 1. He's been really struggling in turn 1, losing the back end of the race car. So he's just kind of honed that down, be a little bit careful, but there's 3 lap cars up in front of him that could hold these drivers up. So he's got 2 little packs of 3. There's a battle up in front of them between Dan Barone, Derek Riley, those 2, and then they have one other driver in there as well, Dakota Bly right behind him. So actually those 3 battling for that 10th place spot right in front of the battle for race lead. But also we'll see now these 3 nose to tail pretty much. This could also end pretty badly later in the race. Just so you have Stallings right behind him in second. He's gonna shove it, send it as much as possible through that backstretch chicane, and if he ends up making a mistake and bouncing into the tie barrier and collects Kyle Klink behind him, that could take out pretty much 2 of the 3. But so far they're taking it nice and easy, but aggression ramping up later in this race. If it's still this close, you could see a lot of a big incident from a lot of them, all 3 of them into the backstretch chicane. But so far all of them staying clean. Maddox holding the lead for now, but Kyle Klink actually big gains to the braking zone there into the first chicane. Lost a little bit, overshot the first first right into the chicane, and lost a little bit of time. Dustin Stallings, so Brendan Max holding on to the lead, but Derek Riley right off of turn number 1, right in front of the leaders, but he just gets out of the way just in time. As he also pitted, so now the only 1 lap car in front of him. Brendan Max big, a little bit wide into turn number 3 there, and now Dustin Stallings right behind him, just half a second back, just a few car lengths back, trying to close the gap in.
So I think really this race is going to come down to the strategy call here in the last pit stop. I mean, these drivers are just so even. I mean, they didn't really affect them too much on the first pit stop, but as Evan Matingo down pit lane very early for the 81 machine. Actually, he has not pitted yet, excuse me. So the first pit stop of the night for him. So very late pit stop for him. We'll see if that plays out strategy-wise. He'll be in 5th place though still, most likely, maybe 6th. As he goes out of his box. And I don't believe he took 4 tires. They're only 11-second pit stop for the 81 machine. But he's going to come out around 7th, maybe 6th. It'll be close. Looks like he's behind Jason Bombs there. He'll come out in 7th place here on lap 27. Stallings now closing out one more.
So far, Brendan Max just kind of staying the same gap, but these 2 have been very close. Oh, Brendan Max into the wall. Could hurt him a little bit. See, that's no rear end damage anymore, so I think he took his fast barrier. So if he hits that wall too much and damages his wheel too much, that could be his night over. So Brendan Max has to be careful. Doesn't want to make too many mistakes here.
Yeah, all the top 3 drivers have used their crash repair so far tonight.
Brandon Max trying to pull away. It seems like this is kind of what it was earlier, but actually Brandon Max now, he has to go a long way around a lap car into turn 1. Oh, and David Wells around as well, right on the inside. Slowed him up just enough. Kyle Schmidt's getting out of the way. Kyle Schmidt's heavily damaged.
Broken right
There's
front.
a big wreck into turn 1 between some lap machines there, but that allowed Dustin Stallings to close the gap in, as now he's on the back bumper. Brendan Max usually will exit a little bit, but Kyle Schmidt's over driving turn 1 for David Wells there.
Yeah, he was already spun out.
Slowed those drivers out a little bit. Allowed Brendan Max. Now Max trying to pull away, but allowed Stallings to get a little bit closer. Brendan Max half a second ahead now, but it seems to be a little bit better, but a little bit slower chicane for Max. He overshot it just a tad. Cost him just a little bit of time. Stallings closes the gap back in off the chicane, down into turn number 1. The car around again, I believe in 2. And it was Jason Bottoms right in front of the leaders. He's able to keep it back going just in front of him now. Brendan Maddox. Holding the lead for now, but now Stallings has an opportunity as Maddox got held up a little bit off the exit of the infield. Down the back straightaway, into the backstretch chicane. Is Stallings driving it a little bit deeper. He backs up a little bit, trying to focus on the exit here. He's able to he lost a little bit of time there through the oval, through 13 and 14. The 15 and 16 here through the chicanes. Kyle Schmidt's leaving the session there, so he's done after his incident there.
Yeah, that's significant right front damage, and be out for tonight. So pretty much halfway through this one, and a lot of the playoff drivers not having the best nights right now. Kyle Schmidt's, Alex Bonzor, Derek Riley spun around earlier. But right now, Brandon Max is leading. He's not one of the playoff drivers. So the top 3 on all non-playoff drivers currently. So Cody Dorsey currently the best playoff driver, and also he's leading the points currently as well. It's also Keith Long not here tonight, so he's second in points. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how next week plays out at Michigan. Oh, Max! Oh, very aggressive with that curb in there on the ends on the left side. It's caught out a few drivers here tonight, but Max, lucky there, kept it straight.
And so far, Brendan Maddox holding the race lead by just about a half a second. These two have been so even all night long. Just one makes a mistake, and then the other makes a mistake, and it just kind of stayed around that half second. But getting later into this race, each lap, each mistake's going to matter more and more. Now, actually, Kyle Klink, he's really lost a lot of time there. He's actually 8.5 seconds back now. I wonder what happened. I think he made a big mistake. Yeah, and Kyle Klink actually damaged down pit road, and that's going to take him out of this race because now he has to pit 2 laps earlier before the window. Big mistake there for Kyle Klink. I mean, if that happened 3 laps later, yeah, and uses fast repair, so that's going to be his night over for Kyle Klink. Unfortunate there. I mean, at least a shot at the race win. It was out of the playoffs, and also for drivers not in the playoffs, they do have a bracket challenge. So that's what those drivers are fighting for. And Kyle Klink was the 1 seed heading into that. He did get a bye week. So he actually goes into Michigan with freely, but luckily for Kyle Klink, at least he wasn't facing anybody tonight.
Yeah, kind of lucky break there. But some of the matchups I can see, I don't believe we have really any matchups for the drivers in the session for the bracket challenge. I think most of the drivers have only one of them show. I don't know if we have a head-to-head matchup tonight for anyone. But to check into that a little bit more, but at least on the racetrack, Brendan Max and Dustin Stallings as well.
Brendan Max still hanging about a half a second, but these two up front, they have put a lap on the entire field. Only 5 drivers on the lead lap, and actually Kyle Klink will go a lap down because he has a lot of damage to repair. He's actually back out and running, but he's probably going to lap down with all that damage he has. He's going to be really on the pace, but Dustin Stallings going around off the back stretch chicane. He holds it together. Great save for Dustin Stallings, but just a little bit too much curve, and that's what I've been alluding to all night. Just a little bit much. Just a bat upsets the car just enough, and luckily he was able to save it. Great save for Dustin Stallings, but cost him a lot of time there. It gives Brendan Max a little bit of breathing room, but now he's got another lap car to get by here in turn 1. But that gives him about a second advantage, another second advantage over Dustin Stallings. But a good save there for Dustin Stallings. That really could have ended his night. But Dustin Stallings still holding the lead, still trying to chase down the race lead as Brendan Max still holding the lead. He's trying to pull away, but these drivers still have 1 stop left. So still 1 more pit stop. The pit window is open for that final stop, so at least if it's not now, probably will be within 2 laps. So you could see pit stops happen for anyone. For the final stop here in just a lap or 2, they'll be able to make it to the finish. But we'll see how Brendan Max, how much he can pull away. He does not want to make that same mistake into turn 1. He's almost spun it 3 times into turn 1, able to just save it at the last second, maybe tag the wall. He's actually now 3.8 seconds ahead of Dustin Stallings. Dustin Stallings another slow lap there. So Brendan Max now has a little bit of breathing room to Dustin Stallings. Kyle Klink still holding the lead lap as he already made his pit stop, and he also does have to make 1 more as he pitted on lap 30. Not going to be able to save that much fuel, but Kyle Hosley's up to 4th now after his multiple mistakes he made qualifying on the pole. He's about 1 minute and 7 seconds back. And Cody Orsi 1:09 back, and he's not too far. He's only about 2 seconds back from Hosley, sitting there in 5th. Brendan Max looking to try and take this race win.
There's no one really close on the racetrack right now. Everyone kind of in their own thing. And what I talked about, this next pit stop could be very crucial. Can't have any mistakes on pit lane. No speeding. Pit lane, not too hard to get onto here at the Roval, so I don't think that'll be a big issue. A lot lower speeds than the normal oval, obviously, but still older tires, you never know. Could be a mile per hour here or there, and speeding speeding pretty much ends your night. A chance at least to have a good finish, most likely. The top 2 are pretty much gone, though. Even Kyle Klink fixing his damage. Not sure if he'll be able to make it on a 1-stop race. I think be close for, or not a 1-stop race, but to the rest of the way. He came out pit lane 3 laps ago. So right on lap 32, which would be around 28 to 29 laps, which is right around the pit window limit. So you can maybe make it to the end on these fuel and tires, which either way, if he pits one more time, everyone else has to pit one more time as well. So as long as he doesn't get badly damaged, but as soon as he hits the wall off the exit of the final chicane, also in 4th place there.
Oh, once again, Dustin Stallings closing that gap back again. He's within 2 seconds. Brendan Maddox, I believe he made the same mistake again into turn 1. No, he didn't. Just lost a lot of time. Just stuck behind. Yeah, actually stuck. He was stuck behind Brandon Newton. Brandon Newton really held him up, took the inside away, and Brandon Newton slowed up Brendan Maddox so much on that last lap and allowed Dustin Stallings to close back in to a second behind. So just like that, Max's buffer zone is gone from 1 lap in the car. So Brendan Maddox and Dustin Stallings, these two, just very even pace, but Dustin Stallings not enough to get the lead. I think if Dustin Stallings gets the lead, Brendan Maddox has the pace to try and find his way by. But I think Brendan Maddox just enough to maintain his gap as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. He can stay out in front of Dustin Stallings, but if he lets Dustin Stallings get the lead, I mean, he's going to have to really fight hard to get it back. And these two are going to have a pretty big battle for the race win if they can keep it together. These two, both these drivers not in the playoffs. Dustin Stallings looking to go back to back. Our best playoff driver actually is Cody Dorsey. In 5th in the top 5, right, sitting there in 5th, the only playoff driver actually on the lead lap. So a really good race for Cody Dorsey tonight so far. Our points leader right now, so Cody Dorsey looking to kind of give him more of a buffer going into Michigan next week. Michigan, tire wear can be a factor to spread the field out, but it can be very dangerous, especially in the early runs of next week in Michigan. So getting these extra points will be a kind of a blessing in disguise. If he gets taken out in a big wreck at Michigan early on, and it kind of can be a pack race early on in the race at Michigan, so that could give him a little bit of extra buffer next week and could allow him to lock into the playoffs on points, into the championship 5 on points. So this was going to work out very well for Cody Dorsey. Is the next driver in the playoffs, Evan Patenko, 2 spots back. But Evan Patenko is 25 points out of the cut line right now. So Evan Patenko needs a lot of points as well. Jason Bonham's 5 points above the cut line. Looking, he's sitting in 8th, so he's holding strong, the 3rd best playoff driver. So, but some of these drivers needing good runs tonight in the playoffs. Alex Bonsior, he's going to finish last tonight. He'll finish 19th, so he's going to really need a lot of help at Michigan next week. Scott Kerber, same for him, sitting in there in 14th. Derek Riley having a decent race tonight round compared to the other championship drivers. Kyle Schmitz is on the cut line, sitting in 5th, and he is now he was the cut line bubble there, and now he's not a good racer, Kyle Schmitz tonight. He's going to be outside looking in next week. And Dakota Bly, same as well, but he had a little bit. He had a 7-point buffer. So a lot of playoff implications coming into the night, and it's going to really shake up going into next week. And also, if you win, you are in. So you can see one of those drivers outside looking in win their way in from Michigan next week. So that could shift the entire playoff line going into the final 3 races in their championship 5. So, I mean, we could see a lot of playoff shakeups going into next week at Michigan. And here comes Jason Bottom actually going for the apron there. As we just on him as he makes it. But Derek Riley coming down pit road. For Brandon Max, he's getting hunted down again by Dustin Stallings, just about a half a second back. As they're trying to they're about to lap Cody Dorsey.
Looks like
Stallings not close enough to make a move yet.
Lap traffic up ahead, gotta get around this driver, Cody Dorsey.
And a pretty shallow entry for Brendan Maddox through that front chicane. Here comes Dustin Stallings, has an opportunity. He'll take the wider entry, try to get a good run here through turn 1. Maybe have an opportunity down into 3 and 4. Double right-handers into this infield. He's had a good run. He's going to take his time, set it up more, just trying to keep that momentum through these corners. This double right's buried. 2 momentum corners, trying to get a good run down this infield back straightaway. Maybe has an opportunity to cut through the S's in the switchbacks, in the double lefts. Dustin Stallings might have an opportunity here. Opens it up a little bit more, trying to gain some more time through there. Dustin Stallings a little bit shallower here. We'll see if he can maximize his exit onto the oval. Like Brandon Max able to just get a slightly better exit. That allows him to pull away by a tenth or two there. But now we're coming to lap number 40. These drivers split into thirds like they did in the first run. That allows them to get a little. That allows them to pit here in about a lap or two. So we'll see who will come down pit road first. It's Brendan Maddox holding the lead by only about 4/10. Dustin Stallings could try undercut again. It could allow him to jump out in front. I think really if any of these drivers get the traffic, I think he would come down pit road and try and get some clean air over the other driver. I think that's the key here. You want to try and jump each other and gain more time, but there is clean track out in front. So next driver out in front of them actually is Evan Patinko. So these drivers have pretty much clean track all around as there are only 2 on the lead lap. Everyone else 1 lap down. So the 2 battling for the win. They pretty much only two on the lead lap. Even though they both wreck, they have so much of a buffer. I don't think they'll even lose the lead, but they do have to make the pit stop. I believe everyone else made their final stop already, possibly, or most of them. This time out will be 20 laps to go, and this pit stop will mean everything. This is going to be the money stop for these 2 drivers out in front. As Kyle Klink actually, he was disconnected, so he'll call his race a night. Dustin Stallings over the radio saying he's pitting Brady Max, so both of them will come down pit road at the same time. We'll see Kenny get it slow, both of them getting slowed down good enough. No penalties to either driver. As now we'll see maybe a 2-tire call. I don't think that you can really do that here on the road course. There's too much tire wear. Dustin Stallings he's a little bit better here on pit speed, holding his pit speed a little bit better. Holding 40, and Brady Max struggling to hold 39. Now into the stalls. Who will be able to give the better stop? Stallings a lot better through his into his stalls. Maddox a little bit slower, just taking a little bit more passive. Doesn't want to overshoot it. Both drivers will take 4 fresh tires and top it off on fuel. Can Stallings get a better launch? He does. Can he get the cut off the exit of pit road? No, he won't. We'll stay about or just behind Brendan Maddox, and Maddox actually a little bit better on the acceleration off of pit road. Now come down cold tires. Who risks it more on cold tires? It's Brendan Maddox holding the lead by about half a second, and these 2 will not leave each other, and it's going to be a battle between them for the race lead again in this final 20-lap run to the finish.
As now it stops complete. It's going to be a 20-lap dash to the finish. It's these 1, 2 right now, Maddox and Stallings. Gotta be perfect. Can't make any big mistakes here like we've seen tonight. As in this, you can't look like Maddox pulled away big time compared to Stallings, but still 20 laps to go. Coming to 19 this time by. It's really anyone of these top 2's race right now, currently. Pretty much have a lap lead over the rest of the field as well, so.
So far, it's just about a second gap between these 2 for the race lead. This time by will be coming to 18 laps to go. See if Stallings, if he has an opportunity, if Maddox makes a big mistake again, to take that lead away. Gresham is going to start to ramp up here late in this one. While we have this moment here with 18 laps, coming to 18 laps here, we'll take this moment. We'll do a little, and crank it up here for the Roval. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment as it's been heating up for this race lead. Dustin Stallings has been all over the back bumper for Brendan Maddox. He lost a little bit of time through a big mistake in the back chicane, but he's closed the gap back up. Before we get while I have the moment as well, reminder to support the if you want to support the Undisputed Cup Series, make sure to use their affiliate links for Smack and Sunflower Seeds and StubHub when purchasing your Sunflower Seeds and StubHub tickets from StubHub. Make sure to use their affiliate links in the description to support the Undisputed Cup Series. And also, if you want to join the Legends Racing Network Discord, make sure to join that down there as well. And have sign up for our Southern 500 coming up here on August 30th, just in a few weeks' time. But also, make sure to support all the other Undisputed Cup Series sponsors: Burlington Cafe, KK Wascapes, and Quantum Bearings. For, also, Quantum, the main sponsor for tonight's race, with Quantum 220 Extreme Sports here from the Charlotte Roval. But up front, it's been these two all night long, pretty much. And just 14 laps to go this time by. Stallings is hunting him down. He's been pushing more and more this run, trying to close that gap in, trying to find his way by Brendan Maddox, but has not been able to do it just yet. But so far, well, right now, while we have the moment, we'll run you through the field here at the Roval. Is currently up front is Brendan Maddox, but just about half a second over that 00 of Dustin Stallings. These two not battling for the in the playoffs. These two battling for the race win, and also both in the bracket challenge. Brendan Maddox already having a bye week there as well, but sitting there in third, the rest playoff driver tonight, Cody Dorsey, the last driver on the lead lap, and Kyle Osley making his second start tonight, qualified on pole. He's sitting in fourth tonight right now so far. Dan Barone running in fifth, that 33 machine. Jason Bottoms running in sixth. Evan Patinko running in seventh. And Derek Riley, our last driver, one lap down. They just actually just put Derek Riley 2 laps down. Derek Riley running in 8th, as you see behind there. Brandon Newton currently in his pit stall right now, running in 9th. David Wells running in 10th. Cole Lewis still running there, 3 laps down on his own lap at 11th. Scott Kerberg running 5 laps down, also on his own lap in 12th. Jimmy Gordon sitting running in 13th. And Kyle Klink, Dakota Bly, Kyle Schmitz, Daniel Jackson, Rusty Gravity, and Alex Bonsior currently out of this one for the night. But back up to the battle up front, 13 laps to go. Brendan Maddox still holds about half a second. Now kind of back to that tangle. Who makes a mistake first? Who doesn't? We'll see if Brendan Maddox, if he makes his mistake first. Dustin Stallings is all over that back bumper of that 11 machine, looking to go back to back here in the playoffs. Even though he's not in the playoffs, wanting to get another win and try and just build that confidence. But Brendan Maddox tight through that turn 4 there. That allows Stallings to maybe get to the inside and stay able to go around the lap machine. But Brendan Maddox is able to get a good enough exit. He still holds the lead and clear. But now Stallings trying to get the wider entry, maybe try to swing back to the left to the inside. Through
lap traffic.
Turns 8 and 9. Lap traffic, Cole Lewis playing a factor. That's going to hurt Dustin Stallings as he's going to go way up the racetrack and lose more time as they go through the oval of turn 9 and turn 10 as they went through 7 and 8 there off the exit. But now that the backstretch chicane, I think this backstretch chicane is really going to be where this race is won or lost. Who gets the biggest run if they stay this close on that final lap, and or who makes a mistake through that final chicane, through the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, how hard will they push it on the last lap and even the closing laps as well?
Dustin Stallings so close to the back bumper of Brendan Maddox. As Maddox is staying right there on that back bumper of Dustin Stallings. Dustin Stallings staying right there on that back bumper. He's really put the pressure on in this final run. It's got Brendan Maddox a little bit loose off that corner there. Dustin Stallings all the way back bumper, makes a little bit of contact there, I believe. Stallings opens up that corner, opens up the corner to the S's. He's actually cussed out of the inside there. Now he's had the opportunity to cross over to the inside here through the exit. They both keep it off the wall. They're both pushing the track limits as much as they can. These two battling for the lead, both of them wanting to get the win. But still, 11 to go this time by. A lot can happen. through the final chicane. Maddox just holding on. We've kind of seen this battle before here at the Roval. Going back to our early days here for the Legends Racing Network, we saw top tier racing battle with the Charlotte Roval. They battled all race long, and we're kind of seeing that once again between Brendan Max and Dustin Stallings here.
Yeah, that was a hectic finish. It came down to the front stretch chicane, I believe. Two of the drivers overshot. That gave the win to, not sure exactly who it was, but gave the win to one of the three. It was a 3-car duel. This has been a pretty good duel. 3 cars, 2 cars through most of it. And these guys are putting on a show so far. 10.5 laps to go here at the Roval.
It's Brendan Maddox. He's just trying to hold on, trying to stay defensive all race long. It seemed like he had that even pace. He had that slight edge over Dustin Stallings the whole run, able to just defend just enough. And it looks like he's kind of having that, but it seems like Stallings has a little bit more of the upper hand here in this run. But he just hasn't been able to find that mistake from Brendan Maddox just yet to get by. Or find that hole to kind of shove his nose in there. Not a whole lot of passing opportunities. You gotta really make for a mistake, find your way into a spot. You can kind of take that spot away, but Stallings seems to have a little bit of the upper hand, seems to be a little bit faster in this final run. But how well are these drivers saving their tires? Because that could be a factor here. They're about halfway through this run. They really burn up their tires. They're both sliding. They could make a lot easier mistakes to be made in the final few laps, and that could cost the race. But Stallings is hounding that back bumper of Brendan Maddox. He is so close, trying to find his way by. Just can't get there. It's been all over, but just not enough. Just not enough opportunity to maybe try and stick his nose into one of these corners. His best opportunity is really that final chicane, especially with the older chicane here on the back straightaway. You don't really have that passing opportunity here. You're gonna have to kind of just set him up for a run into the final chicane. Maybe turn one, you have an opportunity. Maybe the exit of the road course infield. That's really your best option to maybe make a pass here. But Stallings losing a little bit of time there through that back chicane. But it's kind of been like the same story all night. Stallings a little bit deeper on the braking zones, but Maddox just a little bit better on the exits. And that's allowing Maddox to just stay just far enough to where Stallings doesn't have an opportunity into another braking zone.
Yeah,
so see if Maddox, if that strategy is just trying to hold off on the exits is enough.
Yeah, I think Max maybe Stallings might be just waiting for him to make a mistake possibly as well, but he's not going to give up too easily. As trying to go different lines, kind of get Max all sorts of sides. Oh, a little bump there, up the racetrack they go, side by side, onto the oval. Max stays ahead for now, down to the oval 1.
Stallings had his nose there just at the last second, but it just Maddox able to just get enough of a run and pinch that runoff for Dustin Stallings. This time by will be 8 laps to go. Stallings closing the gap through the bus stop chicane. And also, meanwhile, mentioned it earlier, Kyle Hosley, he had a good enough run, even starting on pole, had the speed. He's actually driven back up to 3rd, even after all his mistakes tonight. A lap down, but Brendan Maddox a little bit shallower here. Dustin Stallings has an opportunity. He's got to cut it as he hits the back bumper. Brendan Maddox, he ends up cutting the chicane, and that's he's at the serve that slowdown, and that's going to cost him a lot of time for Dustin Stallings, and now that gives Brendan Maddox a buffer in the most crucial part of this race.
Yeah, that's coming to 8 laps to go. It's going to be tough. I mean, Stallings has the pace. I just don't know if he can. We'll see what he can do. I mean, he can catch him, but it's another thing passing him. Obviously, Stallings it's been really tough for him to get by Maddox this whole race. He's just being able just to stay ahead. Even if Stallings can chase him down, it's going to be tough to pass.
And like it was, Stallings was hunting him down that whole run, but just didn't have the opportunity to pass. We'll see if he can hunt him back down. He's actually got a good gain of back already. I think Maddox, he gets that gap and kind of maybe just underdrives it a little bit too much, and Stallings is able to gain it back and maybe makes a mistake. And he actually, Maddox held up a little bit off the back chicane there, and now allows Stallings with a massive run here coming to the front chicane. He's pretty much back to where he was a lap ago, and now Maddox again losing a little bit off the transition to the banking to the flat onto the front chicane, and almost cost him the same mistake again. And now Stallings back within half a second once again with 7 to go. I mean, it's been these two all night long. Pretty much for the exception of that first 10 laps where Hosley was battling up front with Brendan Maddox, and then Brendan Maddox and Kyle Hosley made a bit of both of them got together in turn 1. And that allowed Dustin Stallings to gain that time back. He lost in the initial start, and he's been close all night long. This time by will be 6 laps to go, each lap ticking off. Less and less opportunities for Dustin Stallings to find his way by. How aggressive, how desperate will he get for this lead? Especially later on, the aggression will start to ramp up. We'll start to see these two push it more and more to the bus stop there. As you saw, Dustin Stallings a little bit of much curve that cost him a little bit of exit speed. Especially maybe Brendan Maddox, if he overshoots that bus stop, hits the tire barrier, it takes them both out. If they both make big mistakes and both lose their tires and take him out of the race, it's going to be for Kyle Hosley sitting there in 3rd, a lap down. So, I mean, Kyle Hosley, not an opportunity. Normally you wouldn't say it, but he definitely is not out of this one. If Brendan Maddox or Dustin Stallings, both of them make massive mistakes in that backstretch chicane, that's how dangerous that corner can be. It can take them both out of this race. But Dustin Stallings all over the back bumper once again, up the hill. Into turn 6 as the Stallings tries to cross under. He actually taps the inside wall there. But it costs him a little time. He actually gets a little shallower entry, gets a better run through 7 and 8 into the oval of turn 9 and 10.
I think Max knows a little bit better on the backstretch chicane. I mean, I think Max just has it figured out just a little bit more. Stalling may not be able to want to push it too hard, especially with the driver right ahead of him. It's hard to see. The driver's being really aggressive on the curbs there, and you see Max pull away big time, but you see how aggressive he is with those turtles, using them a lot in the backstretch chicane. This car blown up down the pit lane. That is Jimmy Gordon there. Take a quick look what happened to that 20 machine. Most likely, oh yeah, instant off the backstretch chicane.
Fire to go, Max holding on just enough.
So Stallings a little bump there. Oh, Max loose. Here he comes to the inside. He's gonna block. Up the hill they go.
Max able to pull away just a little bit here with 5 to go. Stallings a little bit better here through 7 and 8. He's all the back bumper. Maddox is actually to choke up is actually just a little bit. He's all over that back bumper. Maddox, he's trying to find his way by, but Maddox perfectly defending any opportunity Stallings has through the backstretch chicane. It's really going to come down to the backstretch chicane. I think how much will Stallings send to maybe have an opportunity in the final chicane. I think really that final lap, if it's like this again, it's going to be all or nothing through that backstretch bus stop.
Yeah, I just don't think Stallings is good as a Max is in the bus stop. Maybe he's not pushing too hard because he has a little bit of a long entry. But he has a chance here maybe to turn 1. No, not quite. But Stallings on the backstretch chicane, it's such a fast corner, obviously. And having kind of a blind entry with the driver right in front of you, you can't fully see what's ahead. Which that might be why he's not being as aggressive possibly. But in the closing laps, he might be a little bit more aggressive. It looks like he's really trying to get around him in the infield.
And what it's been that Maddox had just a good enough exit. He's been able to kind of fend off those opportunities from Stallings, but Stallings has been a lot better on the heavy braking zones. He's been staying a lot closer now. Gets on the back bumper. Maddox again through the S's and kind of through these switchbacks of double lefts here onto the exit on the entry of the oval. this is where Stallings has been a lot better than Maddox. He's on the back bumper once again into oval 1 and 2. This time by will be 3 laps to go here from the Roval. But it's just not enough for Stallings. Into the kind of a heavier braking zone here for the backstretch bus stop. How much does Stallings send it? He gets on those curbs, gets a good run through it. That slows it a little bit slower than Max though, and Max pulls away again. But we'll see how much better Stallings is to the heavy braking zone here on the front stretch chicane. That's what he's been gaining his time back from the time lost from the bus stop. Max still losing it back in. He's gonna spin to the chicane. He's gonna go back up in front of Dustin Stallings. They're gonna make contact. They're both gonna come to a stop. Who can get back going first? Max is gonna get back going, but Stallings losing time as he had to back up. Now he's gonna throw it back into first gear, but Maddox gets back going. Both of them spinning, both of them involved in an incident on the final chicane, but Maddox comes out of front still.
Deja vu of 2018 all over again with Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. Max is losing on the entry.
Lost the back end. He spun it back up the track and backed it up in front of Brandon Maddox.
Let's just say he didn't hold his brakes for a reason.
Dustin Stallings. And it held up Dustin Stallings, but now the battle still continues. Stallings back on the back bumper of Brendan Maddox. Maddox with maybe the 200 IQ play there. Not really the cleanest play, but he held up Dustin Stallings enough. Stallings had to throw it in reverse, so he had to back up in front of behind Maddox, and then he struggled maybe to get it back in the first.
Yeah.
And that slowed him down enough. Maddox was able to get back in front. They both have a little bit of damage. Shouldn't be enough to affect him, but this time by will be 2 laps to go as Stallings, he's a little bit farther back than what he was last time by. He's trying to close that gap down to Maddox.
I think that left side damage actually might be affecting him quite a bit. It just seems like he's a little bit more
really deep on the brakes there. He actually closed the gap down a lot there. 2 to go, just under 5 miles left here from the Roval. How aggressive will Stallings be? How happy is Stallings after that move from Maddox there through that final chicane? Is he unhappy that he didn't hold his brakes?
Yeah.
How aggressive will Stallings be with 2 laps to go? Stallings trying to go back to back. No playoff implications between these two. They're both just battling for the race lead. Maddox has already got the he's already advanced into the bracket for the non-playoff drivers. But Stallings not good there. Not looking good through there. Get a big mistake that allows Maddox to get a little bit of a buffer. Stallings really cannot lose time to the bus stop this time by. If he does, he's going to have to really make a lot of time on the final lap. I think Maddox now has enough of a buffer he can hold on. Stallings is going to have to really send it through this final lap if he wants to have a chance.
Oh, he really sent it on entry there.
Really good bus stop. Oh, but he gets a little bit too much curb. Off the racetrack he goes. He didn't lose that much time, even with that big wiggle there.
Still gained time.
Been really good through this. He's been really good through this front stretch chicane. This means he's time. Max losing a little bit on the apron again, and he spins out. Maddox spins for the lead again. Into the final chicane, the transition from the banking to the flat just unsettles the car, and he loses it. Coming to the white flag, Maddox spins around. And now he's 7 seconds back out of the lead. Stallings with the opportunity to win this race. If he keeps it clean, he's got it. But Maddox just losing it through the chicane again. We saw it with coming to 3 to go. And Brendan Maddox, the mistake he did not need to make, is going to cost him this one.
Yeah, I don't know if he really needed he didn't even need to really push it that hard. Overall, I mean, wow.
And Brendan Maddox, a crucial mistake in the final chicane coming to the white flag. Just lost it on the transition from the banking on the oval to the flat, and just lost it. And Dustin Stallings hounding on that back over Brendan Maddox the entire final run, takes advantage of it through the oval, through the final chicane for the final time for Dustin Stallings. It was close for Bristol last week. He's going to go back-to-back. Dustin Stallings will win at the Roval in a dramatic finish once again. Brendan Maddox will pick up seconds The only 2 drivers to finish on the lead lap in a dramatic finish.
Yeah, wow.
Dustin Stallings capitalizes and wins it. Just wow, what a finish.
Yeah, the 2 Roval races that we broadcasted have been absolutely classics. What a battle that was.
And Dustin Stallings. A win that was for him as he now goes back to back to start the playoffs. And that just gives Dustin Stallings more motivation, as he'll obviously move on to the bracket challenge. That gives him more motivation going into next week at Michigan. Dustin Stallings, a win. Just stayed where he needed to, just didn't make the mistake at the most crucial moment. And he's gonna be the one burning it down here at the Roval. That's actually interesting. In-place burnout, I haven't really seen that one before.
Yeah, unfortunately no smoke.
Yeah, a little smoke to it, but he burning it down. Burning it down here.
There he goes.
There he goes. He gets it moving a little bit. There's Brendan Maddox right there, burning it down with him. But what a battle for Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox, but Stallings just not making the mistake at the finish. As Dustin Stallings celebrating this one, burning it down. Oh, he actually gets stopped by Brendan Maddox there, but celebrating here at the Roval. Dustin Stallings goes back to back. And while we'll be right back here from the Roval with our top 3 interviews.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes, and we just wanted to say how excited we are to be sponsoring the Undisputed Cup Series this season for the championship trophy. And also, we are looking forward to working with you guys. Hopefully, we can bring your virtual victories into reality this season. And you can reach out to me on Discord, or you can scan the QR code below, and it'll take you to our Instagram page where you can see all the work we've done over the years. Thank you guys, and good luck this season.
here to the Charlotte Roval as we just saw a fantastic finish between Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox. Stallings able to take advantage right on the white flag to steal the win away. Before we get to our top 3 interviews, let's take a look at our results for tonight's Quantum 220 Extreme Sports here for the Roval. As Dustin Stallings just able to win over Brendan Maddox there, as Brendan Maddox making a costly mistake coming to the white flag, and Dustin Stallings able to take advantage of it. Brendan Maddox finishing second, the only other driver to finish on the lap. Kyle Hosley starting for the pole tonight, having multiple incidents. He still recovers for a solid top 3 finish. Cody Dorsey, our best playoff driver tonight. He'll finish 4th. Dan Barone around the top 5. Jason Bowens finishing 6th. Evan Patinko in 7th. Derek Riley in 8th. David Wells in 9th. Cole Lewis rounds at the top 10. Scott Kerber will finish 11th tonight. Brandon Newton finishing 12th. 13th. Jimmy Gordon. Kyle Klink in 14th. Dakota Bly in 15th. 16th. Kyle Schmitz. Daniel Jackson in 16th. Rusty Gravity in Daniel Jackson 17th, Rusty Gravity in 18th, and running our 19 car field tonight, Alex Bonsior look gonna need a lot of help going into next week at Michigan to get into that championship 5 as our cut at Michigan next week. But before we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff picture just after our interviews here, as we'll bring in our race winner of Dustin Stallings there. That entire final run, you were hounding on that back bumper of Brendan Maddox. What was going through your head in the final run, and what was your game plan to try and get by him?
Honestly, my whole game plan, or what was going in my head, is like, don't kill Brendan in the braking zone. And it was fun. I mean, he would be better in one section, and then I was really good in the infield section. But just little small mistakes here and there. I think I blew the corner into 15 earlier in the race, and luckily I was able to let him know so he can just kind of wait for me to go by him so I wouldn't just plow into him. And I think when me and him both kind of messed up in 15, I think we were coming to the white flag. He was locking the rears up and spun it around and was trying to get it stopped before coming back up into the track. But I probably should have got on the brakes a little bit more to just wait for him to come back up the track instead of trying to squeeze between him and the wall. But had right front damage, wheel damage after that, and I was struggling with the left-handers, but the right-handers I was okay. But if it weren't for that little last mistake there, I think the finish would have been pretty great between me and Brendan. It was super fun.
Yeah, and that was a really fun battle here to watch up from the booth. But with this win, you're able to go back-to-back to open the playoffs, be a playoff spoiler in a way, but also the bracket challenge started tonight, and you were able to beat your matchup there. So you're able to move on further into the bracket challenge, I believe. Actually, no, you're not in the bracket challenge for some reason. Not what we got, but still, to back-to-back wins in the start of the playoffs, just that momentum. How does that just build going into the rest of? Actually, no, sorry, no, you are in the bracket challenge. I'm looking in the wrong matchups, but you actually already had a bye week. You already had a bye week, but what is this momentum going back-to-back to open the playoffs? Just kind of what does that momentum bring into kind of your first matchup going into next week at Michigan, and just how's that momentum going to build into the rest of these playoffs?
I feel like it's pretty good. I know I was really strong at Bristol, and then I kind of showed really good pace tonight, but I'm not the greatest at road courses, so it kind of feels really good to finally get my first road course win. But I don't know. I kind of hate to be have the name as the playoff spoiler, but because I'm kind of here just part time, just here logging laps and just honestly having fun with these guys. I love this group of guys, super fun, and everybody's real respectful and stuff. But momentum, I think it's pretty good. Hopefully, I can be here next week as well for Michigan. It's a pretty fun track. But yeah, it's the bracket challenge. Like I said, I had an off week or bye week this week, so I'm curious on who I'll match up with next week. especially being in a bracket challenge, I'm going to try to be here every week because I think that's pretty cool. And just kind of see how next week goes. Had a blast tonight. Did not expect to run as good as I did.
Able to go back to back and win the opening 2 rounds of the playoffs. Before we send you on your way, any sponsor link for tonight's race win?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to the sponsor of my car, Scooty Lou Customs and Graphics. It's my wife's little side business. Makes t-shirts for kids and little custom decorative towels and just a number of things. Also, I want to give a shout out to my teammate Brendan Maddox, and then also Zachary Maddox. He couldn't be here tonight. Just shout out to the whole team in general. We mesh pretty good and bounce ideas and stuff off of each other where one of us may be struggling in certain areas. But also shout out to you guys with the broadcast. It's super fun going back and watching these races back. And all the sponsors with this league, sponsors, partners, admins, everybody, they do really well on making this thing what it is and really enjoyable. So it's pretty much all I got. I had a blast.
And once again, congrats on the race win. We'll see you next week at Michigan.
Yes, sir. See ya.
As that was our race winner of Dustin Stallings. We'll bring in our second place finisher of Brendan Maddox, just making that crucial mistake right there, was coming to the white flag. What was going through your head in the kind of that final run to try and hold off Stallings there? And what do you think it could have? What was that kind of what happened there? It's coming to the white flag.
Well, and so it was happening the whole race. It just came to a head in the white flag because I was pushing those last couple laps. In fact, I think it was 57 when I spun it around first and I collected Dustin there. We were both laughing about it because of the Jimmy Johnson, I think, Mark Truex moment. I was spinning. I was like, oh, pulling a Jimmy here. But I had my master cylinder and my brake bias combo set wrong. And I was able to mask it the whole race just because of how, I don't know, the jump that I got at the start, I didn't really feel pressure. I was pushing a little bit, but once the tires are worn, like it got my rear tires heated up so much that they just wore, I don't know, probably 8 or 10% more than Dustin's did. Whenever we made that second stop, they were 8 or 10% worse than his were. So I think it's down to that. I would get on the bumps, and because of that wear, they would lock up or they'd lose the grip, and I wasn't braking as much as I needed to it. And if I put more brake into it, it would have locked up even more. So it's just a wrong master cylinder brake bias combo, and that's the price I got to pay for it. So I think I led all the laps except the one that mattered, basically.
Yeah, you have ridden a very strong race tonight. You pretty much led the whole entire race up until that point. You're battling with at first you're battling with Kyle Hosley there in third, but then you're battling with Stallings there late, but you're still able to really round up a very solid second place finish tonight. And you were also with Stallings, you two, not in the playoffs, but you're both in the bracket challenge. Both of you had bye weeks tonight. So that allow how does this solid second place run tonight, and also having that speed race win, leading pretty much leading the most laps tonight, just how does that build up momentum going into the rest of this bracket challenge, especially with your first matchup next week at Michigan?
Well, it certainly builds confidence. That's for sure. This track is really, really challenging. I don't know if people realize it whenever they watch, but it is so bumpy. Like we think of Chicago street course as being really, really bumpy, and there's like similar style bumps here. So to come out and to even have the pace that I did and do as well as I did was I was happy with it. I was shocked, truth be told, with you. I was shocked that I had the pace that I did. So it certainly builds confidence. Just because of the performance that was put on. So it's a good boost, good morale boost to keep going in the bracket. See if I can't maybe Justin and I face off in the finals there, and I get my revenge there.
And we'll see. But overall, a very solid second place run tonight. But before I send off on the way, any sponsors for tonight's second place run?
Yeah, so we have a new sponsor on board. It's actually I always race with Maddox graphics on, but we did a rebrand recently to MX Designs, and the MXW on my hood is the custom template wraps that we do for iRacing. We only have a couple on the website right now, but that's the scheme I'm running tonight is one of the ones that'll be up there shortly as well. So just kind of displaying some of the templates that we're working on that'll be up for sale here soon.
And once again, congrats on second place finish. We'll see you next week at Michigan.
Thank you. See you next week.
So it's our second place finisher of Brendan Maddox. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Kyle Hosley tonight. Took the pole earlier tonight. Just unfortunately had a couple incidents that took you out of the running for the race win on this one. Just kind of talk us through that first. Kind of talk us through the race and really that big incident there with Maddox there. Kind of about 10 laps into the race.
Yeah, I mean it all kind of started at the green flag. To be honest with you, I had no idea where the start zone was and when the flag was going to drop. So he got the jump on me, and I'd say within 4 corners, I realized that no matter whether I was faster than him or not, I was never going to be able to get by him without a mistake by him. And then whatever lap that was, I think he said 10. He got too much curb in the final chicane, and I knew that was my chance. But the thing is that I never practiced, going hard on the inside into turn 1. So I didn't know where my breaking point was, and I completely missed it. And then it was just all downhill from there. And then there was a lot of overdriving the rest of the race and a lot of timidness. Nothing in between. Not the right spot.
Yeah, but still, even with those multiple mistakes you made, you were able to really drive your way back up to the field, able to get a solid third place run tonight, and able to win your matchup in the bracket. So just how's that confidence bring, especially with that massive drive back through the field, able to get a solid top 3 finish tonight? And how's that going to build that momentum going into the rest of the bracket next week in Michigan?
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy road courses, so I'm more confident there. Michigan, I feel like anything can happen. Sometimes I have good nights, sometimes I get collected in it. So it's all going to depend on how it plays out.
Yeah, well, and before saying off, finally, any sponsor link for tonight's third place run?
No, just super happy to be here. Want to give a big thanks to Cody and Dakota for inviting me. Appreciate both of them for putting this on.
And once again, congrats on your third place run, and we'll see you next week at Michigan.
Thank you.
So that was our third place finisher of Kyle Hosley. A really good start to the night, able to get the pole, but just not able to keep it. Just getting a couple incidents throughout the night, but a really good drive back up to the field, able to get a solid third place run, and that will definitely be interesting going into the bracket next week. So some of the matchups, both drivers did not show up, but Kyle Hosley, he will face Rusty Rafferty next week at Michigan. Dustin Stallings will face Dan Barone and Brendan Maddox. Facing either Austin or Zachary Maddox. I'm not sure who moves on because both of them did not show up tonight.
Fire seat, I would assume. That's
most likely, I believe. So probably Austin Norris between Brendan Maddox, but we'll just kind of seeing some of those graphics, those kind of matchups next week. Brandon Newton he'll move on. He'll face Sean Bowen and DJ Moore and Greg Vadernay. They did not. Both of them are not shown. So I believe Vadernay will face Kyle Klink next week at Michigan. Eric Edwards will face Daniel Jackson next week, and neither Mike Marshall or David Mayberry. So I believe Mike Marshall will be on to face Cole Lewis, and Jimmy Gordon will face Cody Pruitt. Gordon showed up tonight, so that's kind of unofficial bracket matchups going into the next week at Michigan. So those are for the non-playoff drivers. Now, points aren't fully completely updated yet, though. We know after tonight it's going to be a pretty big shakeup. Alex Bonsior not having the run he needed tonight. He'll definitely be kind of in a deep hole looking for a win-you're-in situation next week at Michigan. Derek Riley having a solid race, sitting there in 8th, but a lot of the playoff drivers really moved up. But Cody Dorsey, I think, may lock in on points. He was the best playoff driver tonight. Jason Bottoms sitting there 2nd as our best playoff driver tonight. He's going to be gaining a little bit more on the cut line, giving more of an advantage. Ev Patenko as well, able to maybe he's definitely. I don't think he'll be able to gain all that points back. He was 25 points out of the cut, out of the top 5, but he's really going to be able to gain a lot of that deficit back tonight. Derek Riley able to gain a little bit as well, but Kyle Schmitz, pretty much your big losers tonight. Kyle Schmitz, Alex Bonsior, two of those drivers really not having a good race. Same with Dakota Bly. So three drivers that were kind of right around that cup line, not having good races at all tonight. So they were really hoping for a much better race at Michigan going into next week. So playoffs is going to be a pretty big talk going into next week, and the cut line to 10-5. So that'll definitely be a big factor next week at Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan kind of a drafty racetrack here in the next gen car, so it's gonna be a little mini pack race or so. So also a wild card race as well, kind of more so. Probably skill a little bit more obviously than Daytona and Talladega, but still more pack racy than your typical 1.5 mile racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see how the bracket matchup is, and it's interesting to see like the playoff drivers racing for something, and also the non-playoff drivers racing for something as well. And kind of everyone's involved here in the postseason, I guess you could say.
It'll definitely be interesting to go see that battle next week at Michigan. But before we get there, next week at Michigan, coming up next year on the Legends Racing Network, tomorrow night we'll have the In-Era Cup Series return from their off week. They'll be going to Kansas at 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. And on Sunday morning, we'll have the Bonfire Racing League at Watkins Glen at 9:50 a.m. Eastern time. So on Sunday morning, the Bonfire Racing League, and then we'll have the Undisputed Cup Series back at Michigan at 8:50 p.m. Eastern time, as just wrapped up the season for the Superstar Cup yesterday, and also for the Legends Racing Gen 4 Series on Tuesday as well. So it's currently only 3 leagues currently on circulation right now here for the Legends Racing Network, but thank you all for tuning in tonight here for the Roval for the Undisputed Cup Series, and it was definitely a fun one tonight. I'm Aaron Brown, joined alongside my co-commentator and producer of Talon Drink tonight. And so long here from the Roval. We'll see you next time here on the Legends